Hello, everybody. It's Miss Ginny from the Rotary Children's Library in Drayton Valley. Today, we are going to be making this. Our program is called Paper Magic. We do it every Wednesday at 3:30. And we are going to be making some winter fun. So it's a sledding picture. You will find our craft, our Paper Magic craft, on our website at draytonvalleylibrary.ca under programs. You will be able to print that off, and it has instructions and what you need for supplies. Also, in this particular bit of instructions, it actually gives you a little tutorial there of what you need to do, but I'm going to explain it to you as well. So it shows you some pictures. Now, the one thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to print off these little characters, these little sledders. So once you print them off, then you're going to color them with crayons or markers, and then you're going to cut them out. So of course, you're going to need crayons, markers, and a pair of scissors. So once you've printed that out, you can either just look at this picture or print it out if you want. I would suggest look at it and draw a mountain kind of scenery picture. Now, the key is when you're drawing it is you want to make sure that you draw a line down as if the sledder is sliding down the hill, the snow hill. So I'm going to show you what I did. I just looked at this picture and I just drew however I wanted my mountains to look and my clouds. Again, if you're not big on drawing, or you're a little bit, worried about your drawing, you shouldn't be. Everybody's an artist in their own way, so just do what you want. You can also go on the internet if you want and get a scenery picture, like a background scenery picture of mountains and clouds, maybe snow-capped mountains. And you can also cut that out and just glue it onto your white piece of paper. So of course you're going to need some white piece of paper to put that on. So white paper. And I will show you what I did. So I had some white paper and I just drew, I hand drew by looking at that picture. I just drew it on myself. So like I said, you can do your own drawing or however you want to do it. So once you've done that, you're going to make sure that you take your scissors and you just cut not to the very end, because your line is not going to be at the ends. You don't want to cut all the way to the very end. You're not cutting your paper in half. So you want to draw a line with a pencil. So you'll need your pencil and a ruler, just a straight line. And then you're going to cut that line just like this. I'll show you. So I'm starting just anywhere on the line I stuck my scissors in. And I'm just going to cut all the way to the end of that line. Not to the end of the paper, but just follow that line and cut your way across by following that line. And try to make it right on the line if you can. If you don't worry about that, but try to stay on the line and make it as neat as you can. You don't want it to be all kind of rough looking. So if you see any pieces of paper that you maybe have a bit of rough edges on them, just trim them. So your line should be like that. So you just want to make sure you don't cut to the end. Now the other thing that I had is I have some tape that I'm going to need as well for supplies. I have some glue. If you want to paint your picture rather than color it, I got some white paint to put, paint the snow-capped mountains. if you want to do that, that's great. And of course, like I mentioned, rulers and scissors. And then you want a couple of skewers. Now, if you don't have skewers, wooden skewers, and they don't have to be this long necessarily, but you do want them a little bit of a length. So even if they're about that long would be good. You can use some very thin wooden dowels because you're going to be attaching those sledders to each of these skewers. So once you've cut your sledders out, like I said, the next thing you're going to want to do is color them. So I'm going to color my sledders right now because I've already cut out my picture, and you can color your picture as well or paint it, whatever you want to do. I colored my my sledders. So I put lots of color on them so they look really neat. Once you have these colored, then you're going to take some tape and you're going to attach them to the skewers, to the back of the skewers. So you can see I have some tape. So you want to attach them to the skewers so that they're facing forward and you're attaching it to the back of the skewer. So then they're on a skewer like this. So I'm just going to attach this one to a skewer. I had some tape on there, but it's not holding. So I'm going to put another piece of tape on. So put some tape on. Make sure you press it on the back of that skewer and on the back of your sledder. So now it's attached. So I've just put tape on the back there. Now it's all attached. I'm just going to trim because I see that some of the tape was a little wider than I wanted it to be. So I'm just going to cut that off. And you want to attach it up at the top of your skewer. So when you're attaching it, just squeeze the tape on really well to the paper. All right, so you want it at the top. You've got the bottom there and you want it at the top. Once you've done your picture, now the other thing I used some white foam. You don't have to. You can just paint your clouds if you want, but I used some white foam and I cut out some clouds. So here's my finished colored picture. So what I did was I used the white foam. I just cut out some clouds and I glued them on. So you'll want your glue stick for that if you're going to use some foam. You don't have to, you can paint it. These mountain caps, I painted those in white. So I just used white acrylic paint. So of course you're going to need a paint tray and a paintbrush. So once you've done all of that painting, if you're going to paint, then you can, I used crayon here because I wanted to show you a variety of things. So I colored my sky blue with crayon. So I'd use crayons. So I just used the blue and I colored my sky blue. And then I used black and I colored my mountaintops or my mountains black. So you're just going to color all around there. Then I used green and I colored the trees green. And I didn't use foam here for the snow on the trees. So there's a tree up there too, because I drew a tree in there. I just, and then I colored the stems brown. So you'll want some brown, maybe some green. Again, you choose your own colors. So I colored the stems brown there. And once you've got that done, I also took some paint and I painted along here. I just put a bit of white paint and I painted here to make it look like it was snow drifts along there. So then my picture was complete. So once you have your picture complete, you are going to take your skewers with your sledders on it, and you're going to stick it in. You can start at the top of the hill. Up. From back. You go in from the back. Start at the top of the hill, and he's gonna sleigh all the way down. Whee, that's some winter fun. I bet you like sledding. Now, I know that nowadays they call skidooing. In my day, it was called skidooing, and they call that sledding. In our day, when you went tobogganing or sledding, it was we called it a sled or a toboggan. So you can have one go after the other. Maybe you want your other one to take a turn. And I got to tape that again, because you see it's not really holding very well. I'm just going to tape it a little bit more, just so it stays on. Trim that tape a bit. I don't want that, doesn't have to be that long. And I don't want it sticking out of the back of my, down on the back of my picture, of my sledder, because otherwise it'll stick to the paper when he's trying to sled down the hill. So now you can take the next one, put it in behind, stick it in behind. And there he is, sledding down the hill. And then you can take him back up again and sled down the hill. All right. So that is our scenery picture of some winter fun. I bet you're going to go sledding soon when we get more snow. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you again tomorrow at 10:30. All right. Bye-bye. Bye.